Welcome. My name is Michael Evans, and I am the program coordinator for the MED in Curriculum and Instruction, our online program. And I'm going to be doing a brief orientation just to make sure that you are fully prepared for when our program starts up this summer. Uh, First of all, we're really excited that all of you have chosen Miami. We're very excited about this program. Cohort one they're taking their final two classes right now, but we're really proud that everybody who started with us last summer is on track to graduate in August. And so I think that's like a testament to the faculty working very diligently with all the different students, but also to the students themselves for all the hard work that they've invested in the program. And there's things that come up. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but something that we're proud of is that at Miami we're very we've had babies born, we've had family emergencies. We're able to work through that because we're a smaller program, and you're working with faculty that are actually at Miami, as opposed to some programs that are a little bit larger where they might have people who are you don't really know where they are, but you can actually find all the faculty that are working in this program in Oxford. We all have offices there, and so you're getting the same experience as what you would get if you were on campus, but just with the convenience for professionals of being in an online environment. The other thing that we're really excited about for the program is you're going to get to meet lots of other educators from all across Ohio, but then also people from other education sectors, higher education, community-based organizations, nonprofits, and that's intentional. We've designed the curriculum so that you can work on personal projects of interest, regardless of what your professional area is. We think that leads typically to better learning when we have teachers who are able to be in conversation with other community people working in community contexts, and vice versa. We think that the people working in community contexts get a lot out of getting to get some insights from teachers about what's actually going on in schools, districts, and classrooms. So as I mentioned before, here's kind of like the roster of the faculty who we anticipate will be teaching in the program over the next 14 months. Everybody's a full-time faculty member at Miami. You can all see we have a pretty decent educational backgrounds, but we're really investing a lot in this program. Dr. Reyes, who you'll be working with this summer, and Dr. Alston, who you'll be working with in the fall. Those are the chairs of TCE and EDL. They have a lot of expertise in their areas, as do all the faculty. So it should be a very positive experience for the students in the program. So one of the things that I think that most students are most interested in knowing is what is the coursework going to look like. And so to complete your MED, the idea is that if we stay with this track, that you will take 10 courses and that you will be graduating next August in order to accommodate and work more efficiently with professionals who have full-time jobs and oftentimes have families and other things that they have to take care of. What we've done is we've divided it up into 5 mini semesters. So these semesters can range anywhere from 4 weeks to up to 10 weeks in terms of length, but you'll never take more than 2 classes at a time. And so with everything else going on in everyone's lives, we feel like this is a reasonable amount of work. It seemed to work well for cohort one. And you're looking at cohort one's schedule here, but yours will be very similar. So for your cohort, you'll start with the 2 classes this summer. As I mentioned, you'll be working with Dr. Weems and Dr. Reyes. Then you'll notice that there's a pretty substantial break. So we've built in a back to school break. So roughly August 8th to mid-September, we don't have any classes or any type of requirements for you to be doing. And we do that because we know how strenuous it can be to plan back to school activities. If you happen to be a classroom teacher, if you're working in higher ed, this is often a very busy time of year with students coming back to campus. And so we've just kind of built in this break so you don't have to kind of worry about 2 things at the same time. Your second significant break is going to come at the end of November. So essentially for the vast majority of the month of December, you will not have anything that you need to do in terms of working through the curriculum for the program. But it does start back up early in January. And so when you see that January 2nd date, it'll be something very similar through the new year, very close to after the new year. So January 2nd, 3rd, something along those lines. So you might want to kind of factor that into your plans. Spring semester, and then the summer semester, the only thing that's really different about the second summer is that you're taking two classes. One's a more traditional class. The second class that you'll be taking is your graduate capstone. Now, there's no required meetings for that. That's working with whatever faculty member is teaching the capstone on individual projects of personal interest. And so right now I happen to be teaching that for cohort 1, and it just, we work very hard to help students develop projects that they are actually going to implement professionally for them. And so we have some students who are working on developing unit plans. We have other students who are working on writing grant applications for starting after school programs. And we have some students who are, going to making plans to do some type of small research project. So we're not telling you that there's not a set of comps, or we're not telling you have to write this specific paper. You'll really be working hand in hand with faculty to come up with a capstone project that works best for you. The last thing I want to point out on this chart is that we do feel that there's some benefit, even though this is an online program, to having opportunities online via Zoom to connect face-to-face in an online environment. And so typically in each semester, you should expect that there will be roughly 3 dates when you will be online and meeting with your peers and faculty members, getting to know them a little bit better. One of the things that I would say has changed, remember this cohort 1 schedule, is that we've transitioned, and now we've determined we don't typically need 3 hours. And so these are typically much shorter meetings than that. But what I should also highlight is that the professors are working together to deliver this synchronous time. And so what that means is that you're not going to have 3 per class. It's 3 total for the entire semester, 3 dates total. And so the professors usually work together to come up with some activity, or maybe they split the time up. It just kind of depends on the topics. But as an example, I taught the Communities, Power, and Change class in the spring. Dr. Karen Zano taught education activism, and we had a guest speaker from New York City that we planned in our curriculum that was addressing things that were relevant to both classes. And so that was a way to kind of, really get a lot of benefit by bringing in an external guest speaker, but then also save time for the students, and that, you weren't going to multiple sessions, that you just had this one guest speaker to attend and to learn from. So we think that this schedule works very well, but of course, we'll be open to feedback from y'all as you have a chance to experience it. All right, let me walk you through. So one of the important things to know is some of the points of contact. So primarily, when we're talking about specific courses, when are you meeting, class attendance questions, if you have something come up, these are all questions, grading. These are all questions that should be directed to your professor in that specific class. I'll show you the Canvas system in a moment, which is the online platform that we use. But those are the types of questions that you would want to direct first and foremost to your professor. If you have questions about the overall program, if you have any feedback that you want to share, if you're having trouble and you need to find somebody on campus and you're not quite sure where to go, then I would be your primary point of contact. And so it's M Evans at Miami, Ohio. I think all of you have received many emails from me, so just to kind of be aware of that. If you can't get in contact with me and you have something that's really pressing, or if you need help with any type of forms or paperwork, our administrative assistant, Angela Gentry, she's also going to be the one who's going to be putting you in the courses for registration, things like that. That is Angela's email and contact information. And so she's worked at Miami for a long time, and she can often be very helpful in terms of having you navigate the system. General university questions, so anything about financial aid, billing, graduation, registration, all that type of stuff. One Stop is kind of like a consolidated, they've kind of brought all these different offices together, and so you can now just call that one number, the 529-0001, and they'll route you to the proper place to answer any questions that you might have in terms of the university. We also do have a tech department, and so this is what's available to the students in terms of if you're having any issues. Sometimes if you're having a tech issue, it might be a problem on the professor end, like they didn't upload something properly or something like along those lines. But if you're having trouble because everybody else in the class can watch a video, but you're not able to, that's when you might want to use IT services, and they're super helpful as well. Other points of contact that you might want to think about is that, so I mentioned that our chairs are teaching in the program, so they'll definitely be familiar with you, but Judy Alston and Geneva Reyes are the chairs of those respective departments. And then we also have dedicated librarians at Miami. They would be happy to work with you as well. It's nice to work with them if you're doing research for a project, because they're pretty familiar with the education space. And so they can help direct you to the right resources. And they can also you shouldn't really need to I can't imagine that there would be a reason why you would need to come to campus or anything like that, because this is an entirely online program. All those resources should be available online. But as a side benefit, you can come to campus. You're welcome to come to campus. We'll talk about getting a digital ID in a moment. But if you did come, you're able to check out resources from our libraries, and that's at any of the libraries. And so if you're closer to our Hamilton or Middletown campuses, you can use those resources as well. All right, here's a little bit about some FAQs from the past, and then I'll send along these slides so that you can click on these hyperlinks. Are there resources available for online graduate students? So yes, so things like student counseling, writing center, our student disability services, all these things are also available to our online students. So if you go to the graduate school student resources page, you should be able to find that information and see what's available to you and how you can access those things. For the K-12 teachers, this one is pretty important, is applying for the Teach Grant. And so this year we have Teach Grant available for licensed K-12 Ohio teachers. What is important to know is that if you're applying for this scholarship opportunity, it's 25% of the tuition, is that you need to apply for it this summer, because this is academic year 23-24. And then you also need to apply for it again before fall classes start, because that's academic year 24-25. I know that's not super convenient, but that's just the way that the numbers work at Miami. So and the way that it works and with our academic calendar. So you'll end up applying for this twice. This is housed on the EHS website, so you can go and kind of check out that information there. But you do want to get to that quickly if you haven't done so yet. That's definitely a priority that you want to make sure you get done. I spoke a little bit about this already. Some people have a lot of questions about the graduate capstone class. Like I said, we've come up with 9 or 10 different examples of projects that you can do that are all very professionally based, like things that we think would be useful that you might want to engage in. But we're open to working with you on any type of project that you really want to work on. And so what we've done is we've created this opportunity to do a project of personal significance, and then we have a little kind of 5 to 7 page reflection that accompanies the project that you develop. And so that way we can kind of hit all the check boxes on our end. But we do have a ton of flexibility in terms of what you might work on for your final graduate level project here. We've already covered course registration, that you don't really need to worry about that too much. Books. So, honestly, rare is it that we have too many instructors who are using a hard book, but those resources can all be found in Canvas. mostly articles, watching documentaries, listening to podcasts, watching video lectures, those types of things. Everything is going to be housed in the Canvas learning environment. And that's how you would access those resources for class. And then finally, what should you do if you're feeling overwhelmed? Just know that we're very familiar that you have a lot of responsibilities, both professionally and personally, and then you also have your school responsibilities. So we're accustomed to working with very busy individuals, but what we found is really essential is that you reach out to the faculty when you're going through the program. For each independent class that you're having a conversation with them just to see how they can support you. And typically we've been able to really help support students and get them through some of those periods of times when it might be a little bit overwhelming. If you think that you need a prolonged break from the program, then you would want to reach out to me and we can try and figure out something that would work best for you. The intention is to have everybody graduate by next August, but of course life can sometimes happen. So we'll work with you to try and make sure that we're able to help you finish your coursework. All right, so next steps, you are going to have, classes are coming up soon. So the Canvas site, you can see that in the lower left-hand corner. That's my Canvas dashboard, and you'll see these little tiles. And so that's where you're going to see your classes. The best way to access this is if you just go to Google and you put in My Miami, you should get a site that kind of looks like what you see on the right-hand side here. And so from My Miami, if you put in the search Canvas, it'll bring up a little link for that. You could even Google Canvas at Miami University, like that will bring you to the same spot. You're going to use your Miami user ID and password to log in. Excuse me. But if you're in Miami, you can also look up a lot of other university resources as well and find lots of information there. And so that's going to be your primary place in terms of like how do you navigate and find information on Canvas. So these are the two most important places that you should be looking. You are also going to want to really make sure that the messages that we send are typically going to be through Canvas or through the Miami email. We use a Gmail platform. So you might want to be aware of that because sometimes people might be using their school emails, like from the schools that they're working at or the community organizations that they're working at. And so making sure that either you've synced up your emails together or that you've rerouted your emails from Miami to go into whatever is the email place that you typically check your messages. That'll just kind of allow you to stay on top of things a little bit better. Okay, let's stop sharing that screen. I wanted to share one more screen with you because we got a great question in the other session. And so one more thing I wanted to share with you is the screen here. So as I said, even though you're online students, like you're able to access Miami resources. And so if you wanted to come for campus for something, you would certainly be able to utilize the library or something along those lines. And so, checking out materials, that does require a Miami ID, but this is something that you can either go to an office, you can kind of check out this website yourself, or you can get a Miami ID on your phone, and that can serve as your identification. And so that's a nice little benefit for all of you. Okay. All right. So if you have any additional questions now or in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, my email is memevans@miamioh.edu. And I will be happy to respond to you and wishing you